Hello Internet, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live with another video game review. This week we're going to be taking a look at Ghostbusters, but before we do, I'd like to point out that if you'd like me to review any kind of game, any game at all, just leave a comment down below. Just remember, it can be any AAA titles, so no Halo 3s, no LA Noirs, nothing of that nature, no Modern Warfare 3s. I know that's coming up, I'm kind of stoked for that, but underappreciated, underselling, underperforming games, or your personal favorites. Let me know in the comments down below and I'll see what I can do. But let's get back to Ghostbusters, which I am happy to say, excited to say, that it actually has the original writers and the original actors from the movie performing in this game, which I feel personally that every game going forward from here on out that's based on a movie should do this. It just brings something along from the movie to the video game that can be captured in anything they do. And I think this is one of the biggest main, not only selling points of this game, but also what gives this game a better score and a more enjoyability, in my opinion, than if they got some other voice actors. But moving right along to actually the technical aspect of the game. It has a basic menu system. Like I said, basic menu system. It shows you every kind of ghost and baddie that you fight. Very simple, very straightforward. It has all those little upgrades that you could buy and purchase and do everything you need to do. But I think that I felt did a step beyond any normal thing. They actually gave things backstories, like these artifacts. Instead of saying, "Oh, you found the mischievous cone," that was it. It actually gives you a backstory that's probably written by the writers themselves, which it gives it a little bit of more oomph to everything you fight. Everything to do with the upgrades that you do. It explains why they work better. All the baddies and all the ghosts that you find, it gives you backstory on them and where they come from and what they do. Which just goes along with what I said earlier about bringing the original cast and crew and writers along. It just gives it a little bit more flair. I was actually looking forward to finding items just to read up on their backstory a little bit. Speaking of the story, this is actually I'd say this is Ghostbusters, like the movies. This would be Ghostbusters 1.5 or 1.5. It expands on what happened in the first part, even though it happened. This game basically takes place after part 2. It just explains upon Yvonne Shandor, and if you've watched the movies, you know who I'm talking about, or maybe not. It's kind of a little quick quip in the first part. But it's not all about collecting artifacts. It's not all about just walking around and enjoying the story. There actually is combat, and that's where I find the game does lack. I mean, it's awesome, it's great, it's fantastic to actually feel in charge and actually using these proton packs. Which, as a kid, I mean, you watch Ghostbusters, you're like, I want to be a Ghostbuster. I want to fight ghosts, right? Right, and in this game you actually get to do it, and then the sounds and the way everything feels and just everything brought together. It's exactly, not exactly, but damn near perfect representation of what happens in the movies. The only issue is, since it is such an accurate representation, there's not much playability with the combat. It's all pretty much basic, straightforward. You hit them with your proton stream, you weaken them, you lasso them in and shove them to the trap. There are other weapons that you could get, or actually add-ons that you could put onto your proton pack, but really I find that you don't really need them in the game. I mean, you can pass this entire game by just using your proton pack. I mean, there are certain puzzles that you can only use, you can only complete while using your other weapon types. But beyond that, really, everything is pretty much basic, straightforward, and simple in the game. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does bring down the game, in my opinion, a lot, especially on the replayability side of things. There is a multiplayer mode, but I wasn't able to find a game. I mean, I was going at it for about an hour trying to find a multiplayer match, and I wasn't having any luck, so I can't comment on that at all, which is a shame, really, because from what I read, it looked solid on paper. So overall, I really enjoyed this game. I mean, what I would recommend is, if you do go out and play this, slap it on the easiest setting, enjoy the ride, and have some fun with it, because even though I was able to find it fairly cheap there, you're gonna find it for under 20 bucks new or used. pretty much anywhere else. But I still wouldn't recommend spending that going out and buying it, since it is pretty much just a weekend game. I do definitely recommend renting it though, either GameFly or going to your local video game store or wherever you go and rent games nowadays. Renting it, put it on your list, enjoy it, and then move on, because this is really a fun game to play. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do to make these more enjoyable for you. Again, if you got a game you want me to review, leave it down below, and we'll see what I can do. Signing off.